So my story of buying a home is a lot different, is very different from many of those in which I've heard. And I will say again that buying a home is just a wonderful process, but it can be challenging. And I truly believe that anything worth having does require a huge level of sacrifice. But with that sacrifice and with that dedication and with that commitment, you will definitely come out on top. And so with my own personal story, many moons ago, I feel like it was about 4 or 5 years ago, I knew I wanted to buy from a very young age, but I got to the point where I really was in a position to buy. I had a steady income, graduated from college. The only thing was I wasn't quite prepared mentally. And so there were 3 or 4 years that went by, and I was looking for a house, pounding the payment, and just getting really disappointed in the process. Number one, I wanted to buy a home in an area that was relatively hard to find the right home with my income level. So many of the houses that I found were homes that were the ones I could afford. They needed a lot of renovation, so it would knock me out of my price range eventually. And then the ones that didn't need a lot of renovation, that were ready to go, were the ones I couldn't afford. And so with that said, it was very hard to find a home. I mean, one contract after another, I was denied. Many people they came and they outbid me. Many people who were trying to buy in the same area had a greater income than I did, so they were able to put cash down. So just one door closed after another. And I went through this experience for about 4 years. And I was actively looking. Every 5 minutes, I was crying. I wanted to give up. I didn't know why this was happening to me and blah, blah, blah. But then I got to about 4 years down the road. I came to a place inwardly where I said, you know what, there is something that I'm doing, or rather that I'm not doing, that is leading me to be unsuccessful in my homeownership journey. Because I saw that I was doing things like, I wouldn't go out and spend a lot of money, but then I would sit there and overdraft. And so in some way, shape, or form, my money was not being spent directly by in a business, but the bank was still getting my money because I was overdrafting. So thus I wasn't sticking to my spending plan, coupled with the fact that the money wasn't landing into my savings account. So I was not saving my money, and I was not being thrifty with my money and sticking to a spending plan like I should. That was one thing. And the second thing is I really wasn't getting informed and educated as I should. There were resources, and there are the same resources that are available to help me, to guide me, to show me what to do. And I was not really engaging in those resources. I was one of those people that said, I don't have the time to go sit in a class. I don't have the time to talk to whomever about my coach about how to get my spending plan together, or to get tips how to stick to it. I don't have the time to do this and do that. So I spent my time doing things that did not help me to become a homeowner, like overdraft my money or not save. And I did not invest the time in doing things like get educated that would help me become a homeowner. And so after 4 years of so many doors closing on me, I literally woke up one day and I said, you know what, I'm going to release everything. I'm going to release the looking, and the searching for a house. And I'm simply going to just backtrack, and I'm going to get informed. I'm going to get educated. I'm going to meet with my coach, and I'm going to get the knowledge and the guidance that I need to make an informed decision. And I swear, once I did that and I committed myself to it, and I saw my savings rise, and I saw my overdrafts eliminate, the doors literally started to open. And so within 1 year after I made that decision, I found one house, and it was a great house. The house needed a lot of work, though. I mean, it definitely needed a lot of work, and even to the point where, it's easy to go in a house and fall in love with the house. I oftentimes say that looking for a home is like dating. You go from house to house to house to house to house. You see the house you love, and just like you see the person, the guy or girl that you love, and then you want to put a contract in, or you want to move forward with a person, and then you notice that the house has structural damage, or the person looks beautiful but they're crazy as all get out. So you're like, okay, now I have to back out. So now the house that I saw and that I absolutely fell in love with, it was beautiful and it was great, had new renovations, but lo and behold, it had mold in the basement, and they were trying to cover the mold up with paint. And it took me to stand in the basement for about 10 minutes before I started to have a serious headache. And then I finally found out that the house had mold. But needless to say, during that phase, even though I got my contract approved, and when I started becoming mature and I started getting my finances together, the house that I did like, it came to me, and even though it had mold, the seller said that they would correct the issue, no problem. And then just out the blue, another house that was perfect. It was a fixer-upper, but the seller was going to do all the work. It was right in my price range. It was literally 2 blocks away from the house, the previous house that I saw that had the mold in it. I found that house, and I absolutely loved the house, and I really loved it because I knew I had a handle on the touches of the house, how the house was going to look, going to feel, and I just knew that once I got myself together, once I got my mind correct, once I humbled myself to say, you know what, one piece, I think I'm jumping ahead of myself by looking, and I'm going to take a step back and just get myself prepared. The skies literally open, and not one but 2 houses came to me. And so with that said, I settled on the second house I saw, the one that needed the work, but the seller was going to do all the work. And interestingly enough, the house that I am now in, the house that I moved forward with, is literally right next door to the very first house I saw a year ago. And that house caused me the most frustration and the most tears because of the fact that I put a contract on the house. I was outbidded because somebody bought the house in cash, and the house was so wonderful at the time. It was for $210,000. I thought the world was going to end because I lost that house. And lo and behold, I got the house right next door, and I got it for a great price, and it's a much better looking house. So I really, really won. And I think my story is just a testament to to the great things that happen when you put forth time, when you put forth patience, and when you exercise not only a level of humility and self-reflection, but once you've humbled yourself and you've reflected on the things that you may not have done as well, the things that may be preventing your process, once you reflect on those things and you just kind of not only let go, but you get serious and you take a step back and get certain things in line, it's amazing the type of benefits that will come. And so to date, all things that I was looking for fell into my lap. They all came together, and it was a truly wonderful thing that the doors kept on closing on me, because the 10, 20, or 30 doors that literally closed on me, the one that opened by far beat all the 20 or 30 that closed. And so to date, I am a new homeowner. I've been in my home for about a year, a little bit over a year. I have 2 tenants, and the tenants not only pay my mortgage, but I'm making a little bit of money on the side. So it is truly a wonderful thing. I'm very, very happy with my home, and I am ready to now buy my second home. So I'm great.